We're tracking another cold blast headed our way for the weekend. We'll also talk about our short-term forecast in your complete outlook.
And also today on Fox 10 News at 4, Minneapolis on edge. Video showing a lawmaker being sprayed with a liquid at a town hall. President Trump is sending his border czar to de-escalate. We'll have the latest next.
Plus, Alabama lawmakers are concerned about prison education programs. Find out why they say inmates are not getting the addiction help they need and what they're demanding from the Department of Corrections.
First on the Gulf Coast with breaking news and weather. Fox 10 News starts now.
Well, hi there, and thank you for looking in. It is the middle of the week. It's Wednesday. Jason wanted to say hi
Jason is
as well.
eager to get in here to tell us the forecast. I'm Lenny Slagan. Yes, we made it to the middle of the week, and thank you for watching. Come on in, Jason.
Okay, the sun is the highlight of the day today. It's been beautiful outside, and the weather even feels a little bit warmer. But of course, we're going back to those colder temperatures, some changes down the road.
Yeah, the return of that Arctic air. I feel like there should be a sound effect at the end of that. Yeah, there you go. Hey.
Hey, I'm back.
Yeah, you are.
So we are expecting cold weather coming back in this weekend, and I think it's going to be a little colder than what we saw with the last round. So this is going to be significant. It's going to affect a lot of outdoor activities.
Okay, we're going to see more of those icicles, I guess, on the fountain parks.
Yeah, and some cold people at Senior Bowl.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. That's the Saturday.
And we have some parades too, so let's get into it.
Okay.
All right, here's what we're tracking with our forecast. And, you know, tonight we're dropping down to 28, and that's going to be mild compared to what's to come. Friday, we should be a little above freezing Friday morning at 39. Saturday morning, it's going to be extremely windy. We'll be at 25, and the wind chill could stay in the teens and low 20s most of the day Saturday. Our daytime highs may not make it to freezing in some of the inland spots on Saturday. And then Saturday night and into early Sunday morning, we're going to drop down to 18 degrees, and wind chills could be as low as 5 in places like Mobile. So we are looking at single-digit wind chills, a long duration freeze, a hard freeze, and temperatures in the teens by Saturday morning. All right, here's what we're seeing as we take a look at the maps here. And first of all, the short term. If you have evening plans, I expect a very rapid drop to the temperatures this evening. We're going to be in the 30s by 8 o'clock, 36 degrees. We'll be below freezing by around 10 p.m., and it will be a very frosty night tonight across the Gulf Coast. As we look at our headlines, we've got that light freeze tonight, frosty conditions. Then as we get into tomorrow, a little bit more cloud cover, but still dry. It'll be chilly this week, but this weekend is going to be freezing cold. Here's a look at our forecast lows, and this is what we're expecting. Tonight will be anywhere from the mid-20s inland to the upper 20s in Mobile and Fairhope to around 30 in Pensacola. We are awaiting the next freeze. We'll break down the timing on that and how it could affect some of those outdoor activities in your complete forecast.
All right, Jason, thank you. Well, tensions in Minneapolis escalating even more as Representative Ilhan Omar is attacked at a town hall.
All of this as President Trump is sending his border czar to the city amid backlash to the killings of Alex Peretti and Renee Good by federal agents. Let's go to Brian Abel.
Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar Tuesday attacked in Minneapolis when someone at her town hall sprayed an unknown substance on her before being tackled to the ground. Omar continuing the event after.
We are Minnesota strong, and we will stay resilient in the face of whatever they might throw at us.
The attack happening as the city of Minneapolis continues grappling with the fatal shootings of Alex Peretti and Renee Good by federal agents. President Donald Trump making an immigration enforcement leadership change for the Minnesota operation, while Democrats threaten to withhold key funding votes, and some in the president's own party begin to criticize DHS's handling of the crisis in Minnesota under Secretary Kristi Noem's leadership.
She's got to make her own decision, or the president does, but she has taken this administration into the ground on an issue that we should own.
Trump continues to defend Noem, but out Border Patrol Commander-at-Large Greg Bovino, in Border Czar Tom Homan. President Trump telling Fox News the move is to turn the temperature down.
We have Tom Homan there now. We put him in there. He's great. and they met with the governor, the mayor, everybody else, and we're going to de-escalate a little bit.
The man accused of assaulting Omar, 55-year-old Anthony Kazmierczak. Lawmakers and local officials condemning political violence after the attack. In Washington, Brian Abel reporting.
In support of our goals, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy rate unchanged.
Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell on the central bank's first interest rate decision of the new year, leaving the rates where they are, meaning borrowing costs for loans, mortgages, and credit cards will not change. The Fed taking its time bringing interest rates down and seeing little urgency, with government data pointing to slower job growth. However, relatively low unemployment rate and inflation ebbing, even as consumer sentiment numbers point to Americans in a sour economic mood. The president insists lower interest rates would spur economic growth by encouraging consumers and businesses to borrow, buy, spend, and hire. The central bank did cut rates 3 times last year as it monitored the economic effects of the Trump administration's policies, especially his broad global tariff plan.
Let's turn now to news on Alabama politics. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are sharing their concerns about the accessibility of the state's prison education programs. The Joint Prison Committee met in Montgomery today and heard about some of the programs aimed at helping inmates battling addiction and other substance use disorders. Alabama political correspondent Jessica Umbro joins us live at the State House now. Jessica, why are they concerned?
Well, lawmakers are in favor of these programs. That is not the question. But they told the Alabama Department of Corrections education director that they feel these programs are not accessible enough to those who need them. Specifically, lawmakers said that they were talking about SAP, or the Substance Abuse Program, and other programs under the Greater Substance Abuse Treatment Program umbrella. SAP is an 8-week structured course designed at helping inmates to overcome these addictions so they can avoid reoffending. However, prison advocates have said before that the wait times to join these programs, voluntarily or court-ordered, get in the way of being a part of the programs. Lawmakers said the state is funding substance abuse programs, so they should be available to those who need it.
We've got several issues across the board, whether it be mandatory early release that people miss their release date on because the paperwork doesn't get processed, which oftentimes turns into people serving longer than they're supposed to, which also then reduces the amount of time they get out with supervision.
If you're a defense attorney, or if you're walking through, if you're telling the prosecutor, it's like, you can order SAP, but if you order SAP, you know, the client is going to say, I would rather decline SAP so that way I can get out of prison earlier, as opposed to be sentenced to SAP because I can't get in to complete the sentence.
Now, lawmakers left the Alabama Department of Corrections with a few requests. Specifically, they want to see statistics on these court-ordered programs, or these judge-ordered programs, and being involved in SAP, and what percentage of these inmates are not getting timely access to these programs. They did not give an exact definition for timely. Live at the State House, Jessica Umbro, Fox 10 News.
All right, Jessica, thank you. SAP is a shorter form of the Residential Substance Use Treatment Program, or RSAT, which is a 6-month residential program that's offered to a handful of facilities across the state. Well, new at 4, the city of Mobile is pushing to make sure pet owners get their animals fixed.
Yeah, the city is looking to roll out a program in the next month or so to make the cost of getting their pets spayed or neutered dramatically lower. The city is spending $200,000 on all of this. And our Brendan Kirby is joining us live at the animal shelter.
And right on cue there, Brendan, hearing some dogs barking in the background. But the goal here, of course, is to cut down on those unwanted animals.
Yeah, absolutely, Shelby and Lenise, and you can hear those dogs. City officials say that stray animals have hit epidemic levels in the city. In fact, they say that stray dogs and cats are at the top of the list of calls that animal services officers respond to. Robert Bryant is the director of animal services for the city. He says that the animal shelter takes in about 2,400 animals a year, but only about 130 owners show up to reclaim their pets. Bryant says that means that the vast majority of animals at the shelter have been abandoned, and that causes a lot of strain on the already cramped shelter. He says a big source of the problem is irresponsible breeding. Bryant says that the program aims to reduce the cost for pet owners from about $300 to $400 down to about $50.
The whole goal of this is to reduce the number of unwanted animals in the community. The less unwanted litters that we birth, obviously directly correlates to a less number of animals running the streets. Instead of just spaying and neutering animals that are at the shelter, we're actually going to reach out to the citizens in the community and help them get their animals spayed and neutered. That way, we're not having backyard breeding situations.
Mobile has big plans for animal services. The city is planning to build a new and bigger animal shelter off of Interstate 65. Bryant says that the final designs for that building should be complete by early March. Reporting live in Mobile, Brendan Kirby, Fox 10 News.
All right, looking good on the I-10 Bayway right now and back towards Mobile from Daphne with our Hampton Inn camera. And we do have a lot of cars out there, but we've got a lot of green roads right now, meaning it's moving along fast. We're not seeing any major problems on I-10 or I-65. As we zoom in on the tunnels, everything looks fine. It is a little slow if you're coming southbound off of the Cochran Bridge trying to get onto the causeway or onto I-10. There are some backups there. A little bit slow westbound on I-10, but nothing compared to what the Bayway and the tunnel area can be. It looks good over to Pensacola too. We'll check traffic again at the bottom of the hour.
All right, Jason, thank you. Prodigy Pantry officially breaking ground today on an important addition to the warehouse facility. It's a new industrial freezer that's going to increase the capacity to store cold goods. And our Hal Sherrick was there this morning. He is joining us live now with the details on all of this. Very important here. Hal, I understand the community partners really stepped up so they can make this happen.
Yeah, that's right, Lenice. And hey, you may be wondering, why are you holding a groundbreaking to add a new freezer? Well, to give you a little bit of perspective, this isn't just a freezer. It's a freezer room, 24 foot by 24 foot. The cost in excess of $400,000. How about that?
That is pretty cool. And we know that that is going to be used, especially with the need.
Oh, absolutely. And as you mentioned, many of the donors and those who helped raise the money were on hand today. They were attending the ceremony. Work on the addition to the warehouse is already underway, so today's ceremony wasn't to turn dirt, but to recognize what's been accomplished. The new freezer will triple the current capacity to store frozen goods. It will also accommodate a forklift, so it will cut back on the labor moving food in and out. Prodigy Pantry says the new unit will allow them to take advantage of bulk donations and purchases, whereas they had no room to store it before. This purchase was made through dedicated fundraising.
I think it's important for the community to know that very generous donors gave just to this freezer room project, that no monies donated for food are being used for the freezer project. So we had some very generous folks in our community who understood the importance of expanding our capacity.
Yeah, this new freezer will store meats, frozen vegetables and fruits and help meet that growing need within the community. Now, once it's installed, the current freezer will be turned into a cooler. That's going to help out a lot as well, because Prodigy Pantry takes a lot of farm fresh vegetables that they give out every week, and they need a place they can keep those fresh until they go out. Now, I'll have some perspective on this from a longtime Prodigy Pantry board member coming up on Fox 10 News at 5 p.m. Live in Spanish Fort, Hal Sherrick, Fox 10 News.
All right, thank you, Hal. They are staying busy there at Prodigy Pantry. Still ahead on Fox News at 4, a lot of different kinds of trends on social media, from dances to recipes, and there's also a dangerous side to these viral trends. So we're going to highlight one, and it's really information parents need to know. That is coming up in a live studio interview next. First, let's take a look outside. It's a Wednesday, and so maybe you're having lunch outside. So here's a fun fact for you. Did you know that the Caesar salad was invented in 1924? Welcome back to Fox 10 News at 4. We have a very important conversation to have here. It's about a dangerous trend that is making the rounds on TikTok, and it is increasing. It can have some long-lasting effects on your child's well-being. So we have Mary Lee here, a psychiatric provider with AltaPoint, to talk more about this. And just moments ago, we were talking about the longevity of this trend. It started back in 2020, but first off, tell everyone what this is.
So this is a trend on TikTok that features kids typically from ages 11 maybe to 18, where they kind of romanticize this idea of overdosing on Benadryl, which is just a common household medication, allergy medication. And they urge the teens to take a minimum of 12, which is way over the dose.
Of course.
And they fantasize about these hallucinations they can have. They can see ghosts. They can have basically this fantasy trip.
Right, and in order to get to the level of hallucination, because Benadryl makes you drowsy, they tell you fight off that drowsiness so you can reach this, hallucinatic state. I can't begin to list the things that is wrong with that. But, what is most alarming in terms of a child's long-term behavior for you?
Well, so when you're talking about these kids, they're teenagers, their brains are not fully developed. It's not developed until around age 25. So when you take a brain and you alter it so severely to the point where you're having hallucinations, and also the cardiac effects. This is a medication, it's an allergy medication, so it's designed to dry you out, which can affect your electrolytes, your heart, all your organs. So, and the challenge is for you to take at least 25. The problem with this is I'm seeing 3 to 5, sometimes more kids a week, and now they're taking up to 48, which is leading to them being in the ICU, intubated on a breathing machine. So that's why it's gotten so severe.
Yeah, and I want to pick up on something you said there. You are altering your brain.
Right.
You are changing your brain.
Right.
That's striking.
It is. It is.
So as a parent, as a caregiver, as a teacher, what are we saying to our sons and daughters out there?
Right. Well, I think as a parent, you have things like Tylenol and Benadryl in your home all the time, and you think it's over the counter, it can't be dangerous, The problem is when you take that and you take it in excess, what you're doing is, in altering that brain, you're causing severe medical problems. And, these are not problematic kids. These are everyday kids, AB students, athletes, who see this challenge and see the fun that they could have. But the challenge doesn't talk about you could end up in the ICU fighting for your life.
Right. I want you to elaborate on that. We're almost out of time, but to someone who's watching, or to, a parent who might want to relay this message to their child, what are you saying to that kid who's seeing this TikTok challenge and thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna try that. That sounds like fun.
Right. Just that when you're looking at things on the internet, the challenge is to grab your attention, right? It's to grab your attention, to get you to fit in. Teens are doing these things in groups, and so you've got the peer pressure element of it. And so just telling these kids, yes, it's over the counter, but that does not mean it can't hurt you. Same with parents. So I would urge all parents to keep every medication locked up, have the conversations with their kids about long-term effects.
Yeah, it goes back to that conversation. You need to have that talk.
Right.
All right. Is there anything else you want to add?
Just to have that open communication. Most of the kids I see, most of the parents I talk to have no idea. The parents have no idea that their kids are watching these things on TikToks, and that's how algorithms watch or how they work. You have this challenge. We had the Tide Pod challenge for a while. There's the chicken, the NyQuil,
cinnamon challenge.
The cinnamon challenge, and all of those can be dangerous, especially when you have teens who are trying to one up the other.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm not even going to say anything about the one-upper. We appreciate your time and your work in helping people through this. We're going to have the information on fox10tv.com so you can share this resource with someone you know. Look for it shortly after this newscast.
All right, looking out there right now past the moon pie to the north, looks like we may have a little controlled burn going on north of us. You can see a little bit of smoke in the air. Our all-in credit union view here. It's a beautiful day and it's actually pretty comfortable outside. We had some cold temperatures. It was frosty to start the morning this morning. We made it up to the 50s this afternoon. We got more cold temperatures for tomorrow morning, but then another cold blast is on the way. Storm tracker alert for the weekend. It's going to start dropping. So 25 on Saturday morning and then 18 on Sunday morning. The wind chills are going to be much lower than this and could be in the single digits, even in places like Mobile by Sunday morning. Here's a look at our evening. It's not going to be frigid this evening, but it's going to be chilly to cold. I mean, we will be getting frosty, right? Our overnight lows dropping below freezing with clear skies tonight. We had some upper clouds last night, but 32 for the 10 o'clock hour, then down to 28 by the early morning hours. Here's what we're seeing. We've got a little light freeze in the forecast for tonight. It's going to be chilly this week, and then this weekend it looks like it will be freezing cold. First, let's take a look at our forecast for tomorrow morning, and the numbers dropping into the 20s pretty rapidly, and we expect to see the cold air hanging around inland spots in the mid-20s, so definitely going to be quite cold there. And let's talk about what's coming our way, because there's a cold air mass that has been pooling over Canada and the Midwest, and it shows up here in the pink. And we've got a little jet stream animation going on here too. Anytime you see the jet stream going up into Canada and then diving back down, it's bringing the colder air down. And watch this lobe of cold air pivot down into the south. That's going to happen on Saturday, and it looks like this air mass will be colder than the last one we just experienced. So here's a look at the forecast wind chills. I want to take you through it here. First of all, for Friday night's Mardi Gras parades, we'll have wind chills in the 40s. So for the Conde Cavaliers, it looks like it's going to be very brisk, falling temperatures, but not freezing cold. By Saturday morning, our wind chill at 12 in Mobile, 9 in Grove Hill, 18 in Pensacola. Very cold as we head into Saturday. For Senior Bowl Saturday afternoon, we've got a wind chill. This is our wind chill during the game. 21 for Mobile. Teens with the wind chills. Daytime highs may not make it above freezing in the inland spots, and possible single-digit wind chills for Sunday morning. Look at that. A predicted wind chill of 5 for Mobile, 4 in Grove Hill, 4 in Lucedale, and 3 for a predicted wind chill in Crestview. All right, satellite picture looks good. These clouds aren't moving. Wait, what's going on there? That's snowpack and ice pack over the Mississippi Delta and up into the Mid-South. You can see it very clearly on the visible layer there. We do not see any significant winter precipitation in our area. We might get an isolated shower Friday. The colder air will come in on Saturday morning. There could be snow flurries in southern Mississippi on Saturday morning, and we're going to get that cold blast of wind. We'll look at that forecast for Senior Bowl and your long-range outlook coming up.
All right, Jason, thank you. Well, tales have a way of growing over time. In the newest Mardi Gras themed episode of Unwritten Legends of the Gulf Coast, how the Mystics of Time's Dragon Parade became one of Mardi Gras' most popular traditions.
For years, it's been the driver of Grenadine, because everything, all the mechanics are right up in the front. So it's a safe thing. Everybody thinks, oh, you shoot out fire. But I equate it to working like a gas grill. You know, you have the electronic ignition on a gas grill and you click the button and fire off the flame, and then as soon as you let the button off, it's gone.
Pretty cool either way. Watch the full episode of Unwritten Legends of the Gulf Coast, available free on the Fox 10 Gulf Stream. Just download the app on your Roku, Fire TV, Apple, or Android TV. After the break, a long-anticipated sequel sets its premiere date. When you can return to Gilead in your entertainment news, it's next.
Lexus of Mobile is proud to sponsor the Fox 10 Pledge of Allegiance.
Welcome back. We're learning things all the time.
Yes, we are.
Hulu has a premiere date for The Testaments. It's a highly anticipated sequel for The Handmaid's Tale.
The new series, based on Margaret Atwood's novel, launches April 8th with 3 episodes. Ann Dowd returns as Aunt Lydia, with Chase Infinity leading the cast as Agnes. the daughter of Elizabeth Moss's June Osborne.
So the show is changing, focusing on a new generation of young women coming of age inside Gilead as their lives and loyalties start to challenge the world they were raised in. And we were talking, Shelby, about, The Handmaid's Tale, and no, I haven't started it yet, but I didn't know that it was based off a book, so I'm going to read the book.
Yes, it is based off of a book, and I watched a majority of the show. I have not finished it. It is definitely very intense, very different, very, what's the word? Not post-apocalyptic, but very like in an alternate universe, and it's a different United States.
Okay. So should I read the book?
It's dark.
Okay.
But yeah, I've heard it's good.
All right.
The show's good.
Okay, Victoria says read it.
Yes. Okay. All right, Dirty Dancing is officially getting a sequel. Lionsgate confirms the follow-up is back on track nearly 4 years after it was first revealed.
I love this idea. Jennifer Grey is coming back as France's baby houseman and serves as the executive producer. Production should start later this year.
The beloved original film debuted in 1987 and starred Grey alongside the late Patrick Swayze. She kind of disappeared. She had her roles in the 80s, and then A Ferris Bueller's Day Off, she was the sister in that one. She's in this movie. Beautiful, but what else was she in, really?
I don't know. And after she had the, facial surgery, I don't know that
She looks different.
She does look different.
My dad always said that same thing. He was like,
but
she
she's
did
happy
not
with
have
it,
to
so
change
good for her. So Lee told me that they mentioned this this morning and asked if my ears were burning, and I said no. But we did this dance, right?
You
For
and
one of
Lee?
my Friday dances, yeah. And he missed the lift.
Oh, gosh.
He did. That
He's
Lee
fired.
Peck.
He's fired.
He missed the lift.
He's
that
fired.
lift right there.
Nobody puts baby in or Lanice in the corner, Lee. Now his ears are burning.
Right, I know.
All right, excited about that sequel as well. But next up from us, we're going to take a look at those big breaking stories headlining your news at 5.
And also this.
Certainly not necessarily something a report card you'd want to bring home to your parents.
Smoking rates, they're down, but a new report warns progress could unravel. Find out which states are failing when it comes to tobacco control. That's when Fox News at 4 returns.
Less per month, interest-free for 50 months. Plus, get free doorway delivery now at Rooms to Go. Committed to you. This is Fox 10 News.
All right, welcome back. We've got our crews working right now to bring you breaking news updates and follow-ups for your most local news at 5. And first, we've got an update from Appmore about that shooting during an MLK celebration. Police say they have someone in custody. We'll talk about the charges he's facing.
And then a group of seminarians traveled more than 20 hours from Minnesota to Mobile this week. Not for vacation, but for service. We've got more on their upcoming mission coming up. And also a story of inclusion. Find out how a unique club is bridging gaps and creating incredible connections between students with and without disabilities. I'll be bringing you that story, and it's coming up in less than half an hour during Fox 10 News at 5.
All right, outside right now, we are tracking a beautiful afternoon. It is fantastic out there here with plenty of sunshine and temperatures getting up in the 50s. It's amazing that low 50s to mid 50s would feel good to us, but compared to what we've seen, this is an improvement. We are watching our Fox 10 weather app here. An update. Nicholas on here showing us the forecast for some of the parades and the weekend, and it looks frigid for Senior Bowl and some of those parades on Saturday night. Here's our forecast. First, a look at a pretty sunset here. Dexter sending in this shot here from Code Inn. A cold sunset there. More of those are ahead for Code Inn, by Lavatry, and our entire area. All right, here's what's ahead. I want to give you a good idea of when you can expect the big change, because we got another cold blast coming in. And starting out tomorrow, we're going to be cold in the morning, but we'll make it to 56 degrees tomorrow afternoon. And on Friday, with an isolated shower chance, we could have highs close to 60. Friday night, the bottom falls out. We go back into the mid-20s, And Saturday's daytime high may not make it to freezing in the inland parts of the area. Wind chills will be in the teens and low 20s most of the day. It is a storm tracker alert day for Saturday, no doubt, because of the cold. We're going to continue that into Sunday as well, because Sunday morning we could be in the teens with potential issues for the pipes on Sunday morning. All right, looking at our satellite radar picture right now, not much going on. You can see some of that ice and snow cover in northeast Louisiana and the Mississippi Delta. Whenever you see an animation and the clouds don't move, that's generally what's going on. Those aren't clouds. That's a little bit of frozen stuff on the ground. Our temperatures tomorrow morning are going to be pretty cold, a light to moderate freeze, mid-20s in the inland spots, upper 20s for Mobile, 30 in Pensacola. We will be tracking that weekend forecast in detail in just a few minutes.
All right, Jason, thank you. We've got some health news to talk about right now. Big changes could be on the way for how clinicians are diagnosing mental illness. So the American Psychiatric Association wants to reconceptualize the manual professionals use to make those diagnoses. It's called the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. Even though this book was created in the 50s, it has been updated. However, critics say many of the concepts are outdated. Moving forward, people living with mental disorders will join the hundreds of experts who helped to write that manual. Proposed changes include considering a patient's life experience and making a diagnosis, and implementing diagnostic categories for doctors to use in assessing patients instead of specific labels. The APA also wants to better incorporate biological factors. No set timeline to make the changes.
And lawsuits now over weight loss drugs are growing. More than 4,000 individual plaintiffs are now part of a consolidated cases. They allege GLP-1 drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy cause complications like so-called stomach paralysis. The drug makers say the medicine is safe, and they point to benefits around obesity, diabetes, and heart disease.
All right, turning now to the state of tobacco control. That's actually an annual report card that grades state and federal efforts to reduce tobacco use. And the analysis released today comes with a warning. In your Health Minute, Mandy Gaither is explaining why experts are concerned that a hard-won progress in tobacco use prevention might be at risk.
In its newly released annual report card, the American Lung Association says smoking rates for adults dropped from just over 23% in 2000 to below 11% in 2023. And while youth tobacco use is at its lowest level in 25 years, more than 2 million middle and high school students still use tobacco, including e-cigarettes.
Certainly not necessarily something a report card you'd want to bring home to your parents.
Despite major strides, tobacco use remains the leading cause of preventable death and disease in the U.S., claiming more than 490,000 lives every year. And the report warns progress could quickly unravel due to changes in tobacco use prevention and cessation efforts.
I want to see us continue to fight and drive down smoking rates so nobody has to deal with the consequences.
When it comes to regulation of tobacco products and coverage of treatments to help people quit smoking, the report gives the federal government a D. It received an F for the level of federal tobacco taxes and an I for incomplete on mass media campaigns aimed at preventing and reducing use. A B was given for funding tobacco prevention and control, and state grades were also a concern.
No stick at all A's, but there were a few. They got the few best states, including California, Colorado, Delaware, DC, Maine, and Massachusetts. And then the states with the worst grades, scoring F's in all 5 grading categories, were Georgia, Mississippi, Texas, and Alabama.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Coming up, TikTok trouble, the popular social media app facing major headwinds, including censorship claims and technical glitches. All this after a big change in ownership. I'll tell you what's going on. YourDaily.com is now.
Gulf Coast. Stream free anytime on the Fox 10 Gulf Stream.
Moms, parents, listen up. We've got a Fox 10 safety alert for you right now. Thousands of these teething toys are being pulled from shelves due to safety standards. Take a look at it on your screen. This is a popular toy. Baker had this growing up. Many of you do as well. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says 6,800 of the Yeto Namer pull string teething toys are being recalled after dozens were linked to choking incidents. The CPSC says the silicone pull strings on the toy are smaller than they are supposed to be and can extend into the back of a child's throat and potentially become lodged. The agency says it's received 32 reports of choking incidents related to the recalled teething toy. The recalled products were sold on Amazon from June to October of 2025. Consumers are being urged to stop using the toy immediately and contact the manufacturer to receive a full refund.
All right, good information there. Now to this, TikTok. The popular app making tech headlines, and for several reasons, it's yourdaily.com. It looks like TikTok is having to adjust again. A large number of people are deleting the app from their devices. The deletions come after TikTok announced last week that it had formed a new joint venture to keep the app in the United States and under American leadership, mostly American-owned. Judging from social media comments, TikTok users seem to be skeptical of the updated privacy policy that comes with the new joint venture. They complain about data collection. It's not clear whether the data collection is new. Others are complaining about outages and upload fails. Creators say they've got no communication from TikTok about what this new venture means for them, and some of them are leaving the app as well. TikTok's active users have remained flat, so it could be an interactive user. And some developing news regarding the social media platform, with TikTok agreeing to settle a major social media addiction lawsuit, and just before the trial was set to start. The lawsuit, filed by a 19-year-old identified as KGM, it alleges that TikTok, along with Meta's Instagram and Google's YouTube, deliberately designed their platforms to addict and harm children. And while TikTok's settlement details are not disclosed, the trial will proceed against Meta and YouTube. Plaintiffs claim the companies use behavioral and neurobiological techniques, much like slot machines and the cigarette industry, to help maximize youth engagement for profit. And getting back to those glitches on TikTok, those types of things come and go, and chances are we will hear about it because TikTok has more than 180 million monthly active users.
All right, here's our forecast, and it's getting cold by the weekend. We're in Storm Tracker alert mode for Saturday and Sunday, and you can see why. We're dropping down to 25 on Saturday, 18 on Sunday morning, and the wind chill will be lower than this. Now, it's going to be chilly to cold tonight, but nothing like what's to come. Let's look at the wind chills. First of all, for Friday night, for that first Mardi Gras parade of the year, downtown Mobile, the official Mardi Gras season anyway, the Conde Cavaliers at 42 degrees with the wind chill. That's not too bad, but the wind chills will drop quickly after the parade. And by Saturday morning, 12 in Mobile, 11 in Atmore, 9 on Saturday morning in Grove Hill with the wind chill. So very winter-like on Saturday morning. We'll have partly cloudy skies, and then into the afternoon for Senior Bowl. These are our afternoon wind chills. We're expecting wind chills around 20 during the game for Senior Bowl, 23 in Pensacola. So outdoor activities on Saturday, you've got to be super prepared with extra layers and bundling up, warmest coat you got. By Saturday afternoon, wind chills only in the teens and daytime highs below freezing to the north. And then wind chills on Sunday morning, we could see single-digit wind chills from Destin, Crestview at 3. Grove Hill at 4. I don't know if we're going into the negatives with wind chills on Sunday morning, but it's going to be very uncomfortable. Things are quiet around the region right now on our satellite radar picture, and we don't expect a lot of rain or anything like that this week. We're going to have some clouds around, and it will be blustery for Conde Cavaliers on Friday. Winds out of the north at 20. It will be 46 degrees at the beginning of the parade, but by the time the parade wraps up, we could be in the low 40s with wind chills in the 30s. For Senior Bowl, unfortunately, it does look like a super cold situation, windy, and we're at 35 for the game with our temperature. This is an afternoon temperature. Wind chills between 20 and 25 degrees. Winds out of the north-northwest at 20. Here's your 7-day forecast and our outlook. You can see how cold it's going to be this weekend. Storm tracker alert for Saturday and Sunday. Saturday because of the temperature, and then Sunday most concerned with the pipes and the temperatures. So we go down to 18 and we'll have a long period of time below freezing after a cold day. It's likely that we're going to have some potential plumbing issues for Saturday night. That's the most important night to protect the pipes. And we still could be in the mid-20s when you wake up on Monday morning. If you're looking for milder weather, we could see some 60s next week. So I guess there's something to look forward to there. But we do have the weekend to be very concerned about with those temperatures.
All right, tomorrow we are taking you on an exclusive tour of Mobile's brand new airport.
Yeah, this $362 million project has been years in the making, and it's slated to open this fall at Brookley Aeroplex near downtown.
In addition to lower fares, we're told the goal of moving the airport from West Mobile is to have more direct flights and airline options. You know, for years, some travelers have chosen other airports because of those better flight deals.
The chairman of the Mobile Airport Authority Board says they're ready to compete.
We have done a very deep dive on costs, and we feel like when we open this airport, we're going to be very lean and mean.
Okay, we're exploring the future of flying in Mobile and what that means for you. Plus, we'll also find out what airline they're trying to bring to the port city.
Final Approach airs tomorrow night on Fox 10 News at 9.
Well, still ahead, a trick shot toddler setting a world record. Not just one either. Then a malfunctioning NASA plane makes a fiery belly landing. That is in today's Take a Look at This.
Toyota. An exclusive look at downtown Mobile's new terminal Thursday on Fox 10 News and the Fox 10.
All right, a 2-year-old with a very special set of skills is already a world record holder 2 times over.
Say what?
Have you heard about this?
I have not. This is all thanks to some unforgettable tabletop trick shots. Whew, that's a lot. Jeremy Roth has it in today's Take a Look at This.
Watch a very talented toddler make world records history twice by sinking 2 very difficult trick shots at the tender age of just 2 years old. Jude Owens from Manchester, England has been confirmed as a double Guinness World Record holder in the table sport of snooker, similar to pool, after becoming the youngest person ever to pot 2 balls in 2 different pockets with 1 cue ball strike, and becoming the youngest to pull off a bank shot using the rails to sink another ball. Jude's dad says he's shown an amazing aptitude for the game since the first time he picked up a stick, and Guinness says the pint-sized snooker shark is not only the youngest known person to secure a snooker sponsorship, he also made a special walkout appearance at the 2025 UK Snooker Championship. Speaking of getting on the stick and right on cue, pilots in a NASA research plane were forced to execute an emergency belly landing after the aircraft's landing gear failed to deploy. The video was captured at a Houston, Texas airport where the agency said a mechanical issue caused this WB-57 plane to come in with its landing gear up, sparking a fiery belly landing, with the plane eventually skidding to a rest on the runway. Responders rushed to the scene, and the agency said the crew, quote, are safe at this time. WB-57s have been flying scientific and atmospheric research missions for NASA since the 1970s. According to the agency, they can fly at altitudes higher than 63,000 feet. For Take a Look at This,